up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Tom, it's just a tough subject. A recent study by Brown University showed that nearly 450 children are killed each year by their parents.
My daughters were picked up on a Friday by their father to spend the weekend, and that night he pumped carbon monoxide into their bedroom and slit their throats.
Justice have begun for 2 children killed by their mother in Pickens County.
9-year-old Hayden King was laid to rest today. Hayden's 4-year-old sister Harper will have a celebration of life service tomorrow morning.
Here's a story that's breaking at 6 o'clock. It's all centered around the 3 people you see on your screen. The key pieces in a Middletown murder case.
On the left is James Hutchinson. Police say the 6-year-old was killed allegedly by his own mother.
East Los Angeles mother was charged today with killing her 3 young children. The youngest was less than 2 months old.
at 6 with breaking news.
Good evening to you, friends. Greg Merriweather along with Elizabeth Val. Our top story today, that precious little 2-year-old right now. 2 people are facing charges accused of murdering little Nevaeh Allen. Investigators found the 2-year-old dead in Mississippi after several days of searching.
One of those blamed in her death, the girl's mother, Lanaya Cardwell.
Well, good morning, my beautiful people here on the Ethernet. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Show. This is the podcast where we're going to take a deep dive into 2 cases this morning, and these are perplexing missing person cases, seeking answers and trying to keep hope alive. Good morning, Melanie, the first to say good morning to Bullhorn Betty in chat. Denise, it's nice to see you. YouTuber up in the house. Oh, you snuck in, YouTuber. I didn't say hi to you this morning in chat, and you were here early enough. Don, it's nice to see you. Tracy, Phil, good morning. Trust the process, me and you. Who else do we have here? The real me 2 up in the house. It's nice to see you, TD Dean. Good morning. Lisa B. Always. Good morning, my love. I hope you are doing very well. Who else do we have up in here? We got Little Orange Man. Well, good morning, Periwinkle Moon. It's nice to see you. Frank is up in the house. Good morning, Tina. Carla, good morning. Amy, Libby, hey. Our beautiful unicorn, Indiana, is up in the house. Kathleen, Robin, good morning. Good morning, Twitch. It's nice to see you, Ma. Mama. Connie, good morning. Who do we? Oh, Raw Beanies. It's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Robin, I see you coming in. Good morning. Wheezy Girl. Hey. West Virginia Holler Girl. Passion Flower. Good morning, loves. Grave Crime with Grace. Christina, it's nice to see you. Crystal Pistol, good morning. Peggy, good morning. Donna, good morning. Who else am I missing? April's up in the house. Good morning, my love. B. Betty fan. Hey. Outer Banks is here. D. Mystery, soon to be a Gigi. Cindy, it's nice to see you. Kiki, good morning. Archaholic, it's nice to see you. Canadian True Crime is up in the house. It's nice to see you. Good morning. Rosemary, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Pussy Willow Pindercat is up in the house. Good morning. Good morning. Who else do we have? If I have missed you this morning, I truly am sorry. And I just want to say a big shout out. Ooh, I see Karen. Karen's up in the house. It's nice to see you. Aw, thank you. I'm being here like all of you guys. Thank you. Well, I'm glad we create a great, happy family over here. It's nice to see you, Kimberly. Good morning, Gina. Good morning, Nani. Coco Pete, it's nice to see you, my love. And I think we're kind of to the end. So good morning, everybody. Happy Manic Monday. As I was saying, Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Show, the podcast where we will take a deep dive into some of the most perplexing missing person cases, seeking answers and keeping hope alive. I'm Bullhorn Betty, and we cover true crime. Today, we're covering two heartbreaking mysteries that have gripped communities and sparked intense speculation. In our first hour, we'll explore the disappearance of 16-year-old Sebastian Rogers from Hendersonville, Tennessee, where a staggering $500,000 reward remains unclaimed. And his biological father, Seth Rogers, continues his desperate search. In our second hour, we're going to turn our time over to Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Lilly is 6 years old and Jack is 4 years old. They both vanished under suspicious circumstances from their rural home in Nova Scotia, with newly released text messages raising questions about their mother and stepfather's involvement. These cases are complex, they're emotional and unresolved. And we'll unpack the details, the clues, and the questions that keep us up at night. So grab some coffee, settle in. Let's get started on the first case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And this case is not new to us, right? We've been following this case from middle of March 2024. We've been on the case for well over a year. Heck, Bullhorn Betty got arrested. I got arrested for taking videos from my car. Okay? I got a tattoo, Sebastian's Army, because this case will forever be ingrained in my DNA. I sent you an email. Daniel was in an advertisement or a commercial of some type. Interesting. Let me go ahead and put you on a star real quick so I can circle back to you in just a second. So we'll get to that in just a second. Now, I've been having technical issues on StreamYard. I've reduced the quality from 1080 to 720, trying to clear it up. I'm still having technical issues. I don't like StreamYard. I'm sick of arguing about it. So later today, I'm going to be taking the much needed time to start converting our system over to another platform. I have worked with this platform since I started. It's no longer working for me. So I don't know how tomorrow is going to be, but it might be a little choppy. Okay. So we're just going to try to convert. We're going to start trying a new system. We have to do what we have to do. Also, I will be traveling this week. Many of you guys, if you guys remember, I went out to North Carolina to Daniela Mendiola's case. Now, this was a case of a young girl that was waiting to be picked up from her boyfriend's house, and while standing out in this rural area was basically mowed over by a car. This is in Alamance, North Carolina. This is a well-known area of racism toward Hispanic people. They've taken the county to court. It's not, I'm not saying this. This is we've got supporting evidence of this by court record and orders of the court. So the court agreed there is racism in this town, and it is geared toward the Hispanic population. So when this white guy mowed over this Hispanic girl and left her in a ditch for 43 minutes to die, the police, even though it was alleged that he was under the influence of something when he hit her, and in addition to speed, and they let him go home without testing him after he mowed over a little girl. I mean, she wasn't little. She was 18 or 19 years old. Very beautiful, but still young. She's still a baby to us. Many of us, she's a baby, right? So they were very concerned because this guy, when we did a deep dive, and of course he has family that's judges, family that's in that whole entire makeup of that system. And so this family was very, very concerned because law enforcement did not want to charge this man. They didn't even do their job for this girl. Okay. They made the family go out and pick up her hair and teeth. So if you guys know how I feel about law enforcement treating any victims of crime like second-class citizens, it's not a good look for any community, and it's definitely not a good look that I have to come into a community and talk about it. So shame on that community. You should not be having Bullhorn Betty on your front door, but you're going to. And we've done it before. We had many of you guys didn't know when we covered this case before, we took a ride along with us. And that ride along was Penn Badgley. And he got to see firsthand our work that Chronicles of Olivia and I did. You know, he was out there following some other guy in New York and, you know, looking at the substance abuse crimes and stuff that were going on out there. And he told us that it's not near as emotionally draining as the work that we do. And it is, because we're here with these families where, you know, typically when we meet these families, we're crying right next to them. You know, they get to see the kind of work we do. It's very emotional. It's a very emotional job. But we are going to be out there. We're going to be supporting this family as they protest the weekend leading up to the sentencing of this man, through the dedication of Daniela's family, first and foremost, with the support of Chronicles of Olivia, myself, as well as a very, very well-known name. We were able to bring a lot of attention to her case in such a short period of time. And we were able to affect change. But you know what? It always helps when you have families fighting right there for their loved one. It is the biggest impact that you can possibly make. It's hard for even a racist community to look the other way. And I don't want to paint with such a broad brush and say everybody's like that, because I know for a fact the great people of Alamance were walking up to us learning some things. But there is a culture there. And you could definitely see it. And it's sad. We're in 2025, okay? These types of conversations, these looks on their face, those types of things going on in South Carolina and North Carolina, there's no place in our country for that kind of stuff this day and age. None. And the reason why I coupled South Carolina with that is because you guys know I went out there for Alec Murdaugh. Well, I went to the bar that Paul and Mallory Beach and all them went to. And when you know, I didn't have my press badge, I just wanted to go in there. I wasn't asking people questions. I wasn't trying to do, you know, an undercover, you know, recording. I was just minding my own business, you know, taking pictures before I ever even got in there. Everything was put away so they didn't know who I was. And I just wanted to go in there and order some wings and kind of get a lay of the interior, you know, where they could be standing. We saw the videos of them inside the bar. I got a good, you know, good idea. But they're so personable there, you know, which is a great quality. So they just start talking to me. And you could just, you know, I told them, you know, how I felt about the judge. And you could kind of look on their face that wasn't okay. And it wasn't that it was because he was a good judge. Okay? I'm just saying. It was because of other things that judge could not control. So I'm going to couple that into that as well. So we definitely have a culture issue that needs to be resolved. It's not widespread, and I'm not going to sit up here on my platform and say it's widespread. These are isolated cells within our country of the people that are hired by the people of that community to run their community. So to me, it seems like it would be a community thing, not just a police officer thing. But either way, that's kind of the story. We will be out there. I'm going to be recording their work from and probably participate. You know, it's right up my alley, protesting, right? I love having signs out there. We want justice, no peace, right? We come in and support that family. So if you're in the Alamance, North Carolina area on Monday, and you want to come support this family, there's going to be a court hearing. And Chronicles of Olivia and I will be there at that court hearing supporting this family as they seek justice to what happened to their loved one. And it's sad. The work we do is sad. It's also very rewarding at times. You know, there's a cost to the reward. But it can be very rewarding sometimes when you look at a family member that, you know, where we get to this point and they feel that relief, they feel, you know, justice. It's never going to bring their loved one back. And trust me, they know that. But they want something. And when you're fighting an uphill battle, people ask me all the time, what do you do to help? This is a great example of what we do to help right here. This is a great example because this is a no-name case that was able to go viral once again. And we were able to bring some pretty big names to help bring in additional support for that community because, those officers were giving us a hard time out there until they realized Penn Badgley was standing right there. And next thing you know, we hear crickets from law enforcement. It's just like that. It's just like that. So it's, I don't like it. I don't like that type of, I don't like hearing those type of things. And I shouldn't say don't like hearing this. I don't like hearing those type of things. But in all fairness, those types of things, I hear those types of things all the time. It doesn't make them true. Okay. This is one that we did the research and it is absolutely supported. Absolutely supported. No family should ever have to protest to get justice. I agree wholeheartedly. I absolutely 100% agree with you. I don't think it should take this, but now you know why it's ingrained in our Constitution, because sometimes people just don't listen, right? And it's our responsibility to make them listen, but we can't do it by force, right? So what do? They created this whole thing where our government cannot shut this up, right? And so we know that, and therefore we activate, right? But we do it from a place of love. There's a lot of people that take these, and I tried to explain this to a friend yesterday. It's sad because, I absolutely 100% believe in protesting. I believe it's very, very effective. Obviously, I wouldn't have the names such as a Bullhorn Betty if I didn't think it was an effective practice, right? An effective and lawful practice. But when you see the stuff like in LA going on, that is not protesting. And I don't want people to misunderstand what protesting is. Protesting, we're asking people to do something for us. Okay? I don't know about you. Okay, I had grandchildren. I know people like to say, how dare you? Listen, I don't have children missing from my house, and I had up to 3 children in this house at all times for years. So I don't have the problems like some of the people. So those people that sit there and tell me about my parenting skills, my non-parent parenting skills, well, let me just say this. I've got 3 beautiful grandkids that know how to treat people with respect, and they would never be disrespectful in front of their Nana. Okay? I'm not sure how your children are, but I don't get talked back to. Okay? And it's my understanding that even as they grow up, they're still being very, very, very good, right? Very good girls. And it takes a lot. It takes a village to raise those children. But at the end of the day, this idea, I have no experience. I got a lot of experience, and a lot of experience with little girls to boot, okay? And I got to tell you, little girls are a lot of fun, but they are also a lot of drama, all right? I don't know if you know this, but even as little drama, they get a straw with a red stripe instead of a blue stripe. Oops, didn't realize that was under there. Just saying. Okay, guys, before we get into Sebastian, I'm going to do my little intro into Sebastian. It's going to be about 7 minutes, and then we're going to go into the story and get ourselves re-engaged with Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Because let's face it, this whole thing we're doing in Tennessee, he is the motivation behind it. At the end of the day, he is the motivation behind it, along with our other victims, like Summer Wells and Layla Santinello. We're there for them. So if you guys would like to stay, I did promise you guys I was going to work on outlines and stuff like that for this event, because I know people have already started emailing me about the committee. If you have emailed me about being on the committee to set up this event for our Operation Angel Wings, I will be getting a list together. I will be sending out an email to each and every one of you. You guys will all be on one email. I'll do it so we kind of keep your emails confidential. If you guys would like to share your emails amongst yourself, you can, but I have a way of doing it so nobody can see your email. And I'll set those groups up, and I will start getting the first email out. If you do not get an email from me later this afternoon, if you do not get an email from me by tomorrow morning, please reach out again and let me know that you're interested. That means I must have overlooked your email. It's easy to do. I run a mile a minute. I'm an imperfect person, and my shortcomings are viewed every day publicly. So I do make mistakes, and I'm perfectly fine owning it. Just trust the process, as we have, no pun intended. But if you do not receive an email, and I will remind you guys also in the morning when we do our live in the morning that I sent the email out, and if anybody signed up and has not received that email, you need to check your spam folder. And then if you haven't received it, it's not in your spam folder, then you need to reach out to me and let me know that you were not on the list. So now that all the housekeeping is up, remind me before I close out this show so we can go over this a little bit with you guys. But for the time being, we're now moving on to our first part of the show, which is the Sebastian Rogers case. Many of you guys know this. Many of you guys are here and learned about Bullhorn Betty, me, because of this. So just a beautiful soul, and we really want to keep his name and case alive, but we also want to advocate because he still has not been found, and we need to bring him home. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you. We are covering the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He's been missing from his home since February 26, 2024. According to everything that we have learned about this case, Sebastian Rogers was last seen on February 25, 2024, while dining with his mother at a local steak restaurant known as the Texas Roadhouse. Allegedly, he left the Texas Roadhouse about 6:22 to 6:25 in the evening, and they proceeded their way home. We do have audio information confirming that Sebastian did in fact arrive to his house on Stafford Court the evening of Sunday, February 25th. Around 6 a.m. on February 26th, his mother allegedly awoke, went to go wake up her son, and found his bed empty. After looking around the home for several minutes, she ended up calling her husband, which was allegedly 3.5 hours away in Memphis, Tennessee, at what is dubbed the St. Jude's Project. Since then, the roads were filled up with a lot of law enforcement. A huge and massive search effort went underway to find Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. They ended up within 24 hours releasing an Amber Alert. We're learning a lot about these Amber Alert system and the strict criteria needed to get a person on the Amber Alert. So how is it Sebastian got on this Amber Alert without evidence of an abduction 24 hours after he was reported missing? These are a lot of questions that we have no answers to as we're working this case. What I can tell you is their statements have changed wildly. Here are a few examples of the wild changes.
Was his ask, would he be able to ride a city bus?
Nothing is off the table as far as abilities. Could the young man get on a bus? I'm sure he could.
We've never done it before.
We've never rode a city bus, so I don't think he understands the process. He doesn't have any sense of money. He may have, like, let's say a $20 bill in his hand, but he doesn't truly understand what $20 would get him.
He's good
Right.
at it, but he doesn't
I understand.
Time and money.
It seems awfully funny that, he just can't seem to take care of himself. He doesn't really know much. But when we hear his father talk about him, Seth Rogers, he describes his son more capable than we've ever heard. He says his son is so capable, he goes fishing, he can shoot a gun. There's a lot of stuff that Sebastian does that, you know, from the information we had from the mom and stepfather, we wouldn't believe. And just recently, after the 1-year milestone of this young man being missing, the mom and stepdad come out and say there was a misunderstanding about their son and his capabilities. That's kind of odd. Let's listen to that.
With his autism, is there anything else that we should add that you want the public to know right now?
I would say that he is what they would consider high functioning. He's not, he doesn't struggle with verbal communication, but he does, he does struggle sometimes with expressing himself is, I guess, the best way that I could put that. But he's so smart and he's so capable, and that I think the initial image of him that was portrayed was misleading to an extent.
Yes, very much misleading to an extent. They're the ones that were feeding the public the information about their son. So why were they being so dubious in explaining the capabilities he had early on? They treated him, or put him into the minds of the people looking for him, that he had an infant's mind. And that is completely untrue. We're going to be diving into this and more today on the Bullhorn Betty channel.
I struggle to put words to how it feels, honestly. The amount of ups and downs, the amount of like possible leads that haven't panned out. I miss him so much. So at this point, it's keep searching. People keep looking, keep searching, keep looking. We keep putting up new flyers. I know a lot of places, they take them down after so long. We just keep going back and putting more up. I refer to my original request, just anyone that's willing, don't let him become forgotten. Don't let him become lost in the next story, not to supersede other children, because they all deserve just as much, if not more attention, because all children do. But I would say just please don't let him become forgotten and lost, because we're never gonna stop. We're never gonna let that happen if we can help it.
And I hope you stick around to learn a little more about these mysterious statements from the mom and stepdad and the recanting thereof. God bless. So you guys got to get an idea of it. I saw some questions coming about. So let me just give you guys some history on the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. On February 26, 2024, 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers, a bright and curious teenager from Hendersonville, Tennessee, vanished from his home without a trace. Sebastian, now 16, was living with his mother, Katie Proudfoot, and his stepfather, Christopher Proudfoot, in a quiet suburban neighborhood. By all accounts, Sebastian was a typical teenager. He loved video games, had a knack for fixing things, was known for his kind heart, but Sebastian also had autism, which made him particularly vulnerable, especially in unfamiliar or stressful situations. On the night of his disappearance, Sebastian was last seen at his home. His mother and stepdad, his mother, reported that he went to bed as usual. And I included the stepfather because he's the one that has been speaking for Katie since this case started. However, according to both of their statements, he was 3.5 hours away in Horn Lake, Mississippi, where he commuted over to Memphis, Tennessee to do his job, which he's a tower crane operator at the St. Jude's Hospital at the time. So but in the morning he was gone. His shoes, phones, and personal belongings were all left behind. There was no sign of forced entry or a struggle. The front door was reportedly locked. And every house or every door and window around that home was locked. This raised immediate questions. Did Sebastian really wander off on his home, perhaps disoriented, or did something more sinister happen? And we have went ad nauseum over that very specific topic, and many of us, the majority of this channel, does not believe he wandered off. Hendersonville is a close-knit community about 20 miles northeast of Nashville. It's kind of a place where people know their neighbors and missing children are rare. So when Sebastian disappeared, the community rallied. Volunteers searched woods, fields, and nearby waterways. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office, along with Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, launched a massive effort using drones, canine units, and even thermal imaging. Check this out.
Top story this half hour. It's been nearly 1 week since 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers went missing over in Sumner County.
Well, hello, Bees.
Live at the command center this morning with the very latest developments. And Jackson, we understand reward money is now on the table.
That's right, Blake. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office tells us that a group of local investors invested a minimum of $3,000 toward any information that would help investigators in finding Sebastian Rogers. I now want to bring in EMA Director with Sumner County, Ken Widener. Ken, as we near this week-long search effort, where are you focusing starting today?
Well, we keep expanding. So we've expanded west and we're expanding north. We just keep expanding the search area and we're bringing different teams in. Yesterday we had a group from East Tennessee come in. They're mountainous experts and they do caves, and so we've had any cave that we've marked, we've had them in those caves. City of Gallatin has done all the storm drains in the area with cameras. So we keep expanding and just throwing everything that we can at it to try to get him located.
In terms of the search, you said you've been expanding. About how much ground have you covered?
We're close to 5 miles now. Now, the further south you go towards Hendersonville, we get into the city, and we would expect he would be located or seen if he were in the city. And we've gone into the city, sort of in the fringe, in the more not as urban areas of Henderson, but we've been all the way to the lake on the streams that travel to the lake. We've been to the lake.
And you have over 300 searchers here.
Well,
Yesterday
I had 330 on the ground, and we'll run the numbers later today on how many come in today, and we run that as the day goes on.
And 43 years in law enforcement, you told me. What does this experience look like in terms of people coming together to help out in this one mission to find Sebastian Rogers?
Well, one thing about Tennessee and the Southeast is we're always going to have people that want to help, and we get calls from across the state for people that want to come in and help us. And the thing that we've got to do is be able to manage that. So we track everybody that's on the ground. The first 2 days we did 2,000 miles of people walking. And we haven't run those numbers for the entire duration of this operation, but it's great, and to be able to call in specialized groups that do the things that we can't do is really good.
What keeps you going as you're keeping going after this week just to find Sebastian Rogers? How do you keep going, you and your team?
Oh yeah, just the drive to find him. We'll go talk to the parents in a little while, and every morning we sit and talk to them. We want to do everything for them and for Sebastian to get him located.
Thank you so much, Ken. If you do have any information,
So there you guys have it. That clip captures the urgency of those earlier days, but despite hundreds of tips and exhaustive searches, no significant evidence was found. Now, for me, the lack of evidence is significant for me. Sebastian's case quickly gained national attention, partly because of his autism and the lack of clear leads. Was he lost in the woods? Did he run away? Or was there foul play? These questions lingered, and soon the focus turned to those closest to Sebastian, his mother and stepfather. The investigation into Sebastian's disappearance hit roadblocks early on. The lack of physical evidence, no footprints, no surveillance footage, no witnesses. It made it difficult to pinpoint what happened. Police interviewed Katie and Chris Proudfoot extensively, but their accounts raised eyebrows. They claim they last saw Sebastian around 9 p.m. A thud and a voice saying, "All right, Mom." And at 6 a.m., according to Katie Proudfoot, he was gone. Now remember, Katie Proudfoot was the only one home with Sebastian at the time of his disappearance. We've learned since the beginning of this case that his mother and stepdad have been trying to rehome him since October of 2022. They suggested that he might have wandered off, citing his autism as a factor that could lead to impulsive behavior, which we found not to be true. But neighbors reported no unusual activity, and Sebastian wasn't known to leave the home unaccompanied. That all changed on March 14th when Nick Barris, a local newsman for Channel 5 News, released a video depicting what appeared to be two people with flashlights wandering through a common area from the side of the Proudfoot home to an unknown vehicle, parking suspiciously on the side of the road off of Stafford Court near Kellen Lane. As weeks turned into months, Chris and Katie became increasingly silent. They stopped giving media interviews and limited their cooperation with investigators. According to some reports, this withdrawal fueled speculation online and some on platforms like X, suggesting they knew more than they were letting on. Posts like Jennifer Coffindaffer. We know Jennifer Coffindaffer at Coffindaffer FBI. On May 8, 2025, compared Sebastian's case to other missing children's cases, noting the eerie absence of any trace. Meanwhile, Sebastian's biological father, Seth Rogers, emerged as a vocal advocate for his son. Seth, who had been estranged from Sebastian due to his custody arrangements, had never stopped searching for him. He was estranged from his son because he's missing. His father was very much involved in Sebastian's life, going to anything that had to do with school activities, such as running. He organized vigils, spoke to media, and worked with private investigators. In one interview, Seth tearfully said, "Sebastian is my world. I won't rest until I know where he is." His dedication contrasts sharply with the silence of Katie and Chris, raising questions about the family dynamic and potential secrets. Could there have been tension in the household? We've learned since this case broke. Yes, there was. Was Sebastian struggling with something his parents didn't share? Yes. It sounds like house abuse, home violence. These are questions investigators have grappled with and the lack of answers has only deepened the mystery. Let me come over here and see if we have any questions so far. And I've got a whole laundry list of stuff that I have been marking. So we're going to take a little break here and go back to some of your questions. And then I'm going to get on with the rest of this segment related to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Melanie, again, 9 months. I like being here. I like all of you guys. Oh, that's so sweet. Outer Banks sent me an email, and I'll get to that on the second segment. I'll check that out. I know Andrea as well sent me something. Aw, thank you. Thank you, Caddy. I didn't even say good morning to you. I didn't see you sneak in. So good morning. She says Betty is the best. Thank you. I'll give you a couple kisses, too. There you go. There you go. Thank you. So Deborah says, what a nice thing to say. Our pets are a gift from God, and what a lovely way to say it. I don't know what she said, but the reason why I pulled this is because, and I know this is just a little bit off topic, and I apologize, but it's important to me because I think a lot of us are animal lovers, and I've got some good news to report. So it's a sad case, but it's kind of good news in the ruling. Okay, so a lady was walking her son's Dachshund, and he was the cutest little Dachshund. He wore tuxedos, just adorable. And while she was on a walk, this crazed lunatic behind the wheel of a car driving erratically ended up hitting the dog, and right in front of this, grandma, fur baby grandma, right? And it was probably a very emotional, because we love our animals, okay? However, in the court's mind and in the court's eyes, they're chattel, they're property. They're no different than a freaking couch, okay? In the eyes of the law, they're no different than your couch, okay? Your couch is not a living, breathing creature, right? Your couch doesn't cry. Your couch doesn't get diarrhea or sick. Your couch doesn't hurt itself, right? Your couch doesn't wail if it's bleeding. That sounds like a creature or a human being, but it's not. But it is another mammal. It's a dog or cat. Well, this judge actually, for the first time I've heard in recent time, said that he can't see why a dog can't be considered immediate family for the purposes of emotional distress element. Do you know how huge that is? That is huge. And you kind of got to look at it like this. Think about it. If we injure our children, we go to jail. If we injure a dog, we go to jail, right? If we unalive a child, we go to jail. If we unalive a dog, we go to jail. Do you think we would go to jail if we took a razor blade to our couch? Do you think that we would go to jail if we took a bat to the couch? No. Why? Because it doesn't go ouch. So I thought this was really, it made my heart, because now even the courts are realizing how important pets are, right? They are not just chattel. They're living, breathing creatures that show us a lot of love. They are part of our family. And trust me, when we lose our pets, tell me that we're not crying. Tell me it doesn't feel like a true loss. Tell me that. You can't. Because we all know there's always a hole in our heart when one of our pets go to Rainbow Bridge. I guarantee we know every single one of our pets' names that we've had since we were a child. So they are not a couch. Yes, they are our property that we're required to take pretty damn good care of. I don't see any laws telling us we have to clean our couch once a week. Okay? I don't see laws saying that we can't, if we burn our couch, we're going to jail. Okay? But we do have laws like that for our pets. and our pets are our family. So it was just nice. I thought you guys would like to see. Now back to Sebastian Rogers. But that's the reason why I pulled that one. Katie flipped and hurt her child, called Chris to come and clean up her mess. That's what a lot of people believe, and that is part of my theory. I'm trying to explain all the stuff that we know, and you can't explain any of this stuff. There's just certain behaviors we can't attribute to any other type of behavior than one, a very bad one. Guys, I'm seeing that my bandwidth is falling down, even though I got this on 720. I apologize if I'm getting it blurry for you guys. I don't know. Hopefully not. I think of Sebastian all the time and pray for him and Seth daily. God bless you. God bless you. And I know that he would know that. So I wanted to answer some missing 411 parents, gambling, drug problems. I don't know if I believe that they both have alcohol problems. I think that that's one box in the wrong direction for them. I don't know about the gambling. I do know that they apparently like the Mary Jane. There was evidence of Mary Jane in their possession that I know for a fact, without a doubt, that it was Mary Jane, the rosebud kind of form of Mary Jane. And so we know that. I don't know if she just didn't go to work and she could get away with it, because I would think that anybody that works for Brinks would be getting drug tested, but who knows? And then Lisa says allegedly gamblers. I've never heard that they gamble, but I guess that could make sense. I think she means she struggles to have the heart to do anything supportive of Sebastian, words or actions, is what Karen says. I don't know what that was for, but I liked how it was stated, so I went ahead and pulled that up. And she says she agrees with you, YouTuber. I'm not a doctor, but she definitely fits the symptoms. I would wonder if the two sociopaths ended up together and why they can work as a team to do something so ugly. I just can't believe Katie never fought for her child, You're going to have disagreements in a blended family, There's going to be times when the stepchildren are, you're not my parent. You can't tell me what to do, type of thing. You go through all of that. It's growth. It's I don't know. CP is living as he was determined. With Sebastian's absence from his home, he's posting his political opinions on his Facebook page. Yeah, like he has better things to do than political opinions. Okay, they've got a missing child that they keep forgetting about. But don't worry. Katie made sure she got a heart and a cross. So she wanted to show the world she's doing something, right? Since she skipped all the memorials, all the prayer memorials, all the vigils, everything, she skipped. She hasn't been there. You know what she shows up for? She shows up to punish people that believe she murdered her child. She'll show up for that, but she won't show up for her son that's missing, that everybody believes is murdered. Make that make sense. Aw, Melly Cat says, love you, Betty, and your dedication. Aw, thank you. And Brenda says, justice for Sebastian. Thank you, Betty, for all you do. Thank you, guys. You guys are so sweet. I appreciate that. So let's get back to this. And we're going to be going back over this whole, $500,000, because in a bid to generate new leads, many of you guys know that at night, intelligence agency, it has been really trying to engage the public, really trying to draw people in that have information that could lead to Sebastian's whereabouts. And they offered up to $500,000 for information leading to Sebastian's safe return or the resolution of the case, which means somebody is arrested and fully through the trial process and convicted of those charges. This substantial sum, announced by a combination of community donors and law enforcement, because there is an FBI $50,000 reward that underscores the desperation to find answers. Yet, as of June 2025, the reward remains unclaimed and Sebastian's still missing. Recent developments have been scarce, as many of you guys know. We've all been watching this stuff play out. We know that media has kind of tampered down. Social media really gave this case hell. We tried very hard to strum up interest and get more information going in. But this is a tight-knit community, okay? There is a level of corruption that I truly believe resides in this community. Online discussions on platforms like X, social media, YouTube, TikTok, keep the case alive, with users sharing theories ranging from Sebastian wandered off or more troubling scenarios like mine, where I believe his mother strangled him. And I believe Chris Proudfoot came and picked him up and took and covered his wife's six. That's what I truly believe. And I truly believe they have been trying to find a plan B ever since. If you're new to my channel and you don't know what I mean by plan B is basically blaming somebody else for the crime you committed, right? And the plan B doesn't have to have a name. It could be just a mysterious third party that did it. But I feel like they've been attempting to plan B someone in this case, from Miss Bobby, the neighbor, to Terry Lynn, to Seth Rogers, to anybody else other than the last person that saw this child alive inside their home, this child's own mother, Katie Proudfoot. We're in the true crime genre where we cover cases where parents do horrible things to their children. So for us to make the leap that Katie is responsible is not too hard for us, because we watch this over and over again, and she's displaying the behaviors that many of the suspects that have now been arrested, charged, and convicted, have also displayed in the past. Seth's words hit hard. His commitment to find Sebastian keeps hope alive, but it also highlights the frustration of a case with so few clues. The $500,000 reward is a beacon, but will not be enough to break the silence, and we're hoping it will. Let's step back and analyze the Sebastian Rogers case. There are three main theories. First, Sebastian could have wandered off due to his autism, perhaps being disoriented or lost. The wooded area around Hendersonville are vast, and it's possible he got caught in rough terrain. But the extensive searches, including air with dogs, makes this less likely. Second, some speculate Sebastian ran away. At 15, he was old enough to feel family tension and want independence. But his phone and belongings were all left behind, which doesn't align with the typical runaway scenario. Third, which is the most troubling, is the possibility of foul play. The one thing that law enforcement has really tried hard to push the public out of, right? They've done everything they can to avoid having to talk about this foul play scenario with the public. The silence of Katie and Chris has fueled suspicion. Were they hiding something? Did an argument escalate? Was there an arrangement? Or could an outsider have entered the home undetected? Without evidence, these are just theories, but the lack of transparency from Sebastian's mother and stepfather, as well as the investigators on this case, keeps this angle alive. What do you think happened? Have you followed the Sebastian's case? If you have followed Sebastian's case, tell me what your thoughts are. We also have a lot of different groups on here, including our Facebook group, where I hope you guys have all signed up for and share your perspectives in that group. So what we're going to do is we're going to take just a short break to go through some of your questions or statements and just chat for a few minutes. And then we're going to get over to the chilling case of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. So guys, thank you for being here. There's a lot of problems with the Sebastian Rogers case. And actually, it kind of goes back to some of the reasons why we are putting this stuff together, because we're wanting tougher let me just read what are our focus of this project that we are doing in Tennessee. And I think that's important because, excuse me, got the wrong one open here. I think that's important because our primary purpose, where is it? There it is. We're seeking tougher penalties for crimes against children and the elderly, basically the most vulnerable. So disabled. So I guess it'd be children, disabled, and elderly. So it's the most vulnerable. We're seeking more services for at-risk families. We want to make laws designed in Tennessee that charge offenders without a body. People shouldn't be able to hide a victim to avoid criminal prosecution. We want laws that turn last known places a child was last seen into a crime scene and processed in accordance with those policies and practices. So that really is the primary purpose, the four key goals of this project that we are wanting to do in Tennessee. And I've already got our timeline worked out here for what we're going to need. And I've already got a list. I started working on a list of sponsors because we're going to need sponsors. The reason why I'm looking at these sponsors, and I talked about sponsors, is because an event like this does actually cost money. It costs a lot of money. Okay. It costs anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 to set something like this up. And that's on the lower end. Okay. So obviously I want people sponsoring that, right? I don't want to pay. We're putting our time and effort into setting this all up and getting people in to have this message. And there are ways we can advertise with sponsorships and get those costs covered, either in real hard cash that will go over to be, to rent equipment like the lectern, the podium that needs to be there, the tents, the seats, the tables that need to be up and stuff like that. So all that has cold hard costs to it that have to become up. And since we're leading this, obviously those costs are going to be bared by this channel. So the best thing we can do is start making cold calls and getting some type of sponsorship. Okay. And that's why, so I've already started lists on sponsorship. I'm working on engagement letters. This is not the first time I've done this. So I've had to go back to my policies and procedures from years ago and get some notes on how I did stuff in the past. And so this is how I did in the past. And I did some preliminary research on who I think would be willing to sponsor something like this and how they, how to approach them. So I've done some preliminary work on that. It's just getting, and then I've got the engagement letter that I've already drafted. So, once we get the committee, we'll be delegating, like, we need these emailed to this, we'll have a standard letter and email for you. So we'll figure all of the nuts and bolts of that. But where's my time? I know I put a timeline on here somewhere. Where is it? Okay, here it is. So I think within the 90 to 120 days should be adequate, because we need about a total of 8 weeks just to set up and get approval for the event to be hosted at the governor's mansion. So we may have to take an outer lying property, public property, away from the governor's mansion, depending on what's all involved in that and how much the application fee is and the event fee will be. But we'll get all that worked out. But it's going to be a fully transparent thing. This is not going to be decisions I will be making. That's why I'm setting up the committee, because obviously it's going to be a group effort and it's going to be group decisions. that will need to be made. It makes it a little easier because you got different people processing things differently. And if we come down to a situation where we don't know whether we should include it or exclude it, then you got, a few people saying, giving their perspectives, then we can have a vote, and whatever the vote is the vote of the people, right? Is the vote of the committee. So I think that will be good. I just want to make sure we know that we are doing this for the children, okay? When we do things for the children or by this channel, we want to be in the spotlight with the right foot and the correct approach, okay? We are coming from a place of love. We have integrity and dignity on this channel. So it's going to be very, very upsetting if we have somebody on this channel that shows up and makes an ass out of themselves, okay? I don't want to debut you on my show as being the a-hole of the crowd, okay? I will. If you don't know who I am Bullhorn Betty, and just when you think I won't do something, you're wrong. You're wrong. So if you come there with grateful hearts, okay? Because there's a lot of people in a lot of worse positions than we are, right? We have the ability to do this. The people that we're doing this for have their hearts shattered. Their worlds are black. And we want to put a little sunshine out there. So we don't come here with hateful hearts. We come here from a place of wanting help. And we're asking for the help. And we're not mean, right? Who wants to help somebody being nasty? Right? Nobody. Nobody wants to help somebody being nasty. We're coming here for these politicians to hear our voice, to uplift these children and these victims, and to say, we've got a huge problem here and we need to find ways to fix it. Here's some of our solutions, right? That's how we do it. It's very dignified, and it's what our Constitution wanted when they gave us the opportunity and the privilege to have that. To be able to open our mouth, to be able to protest, to be able to gather, to be able to raise our voices. It is to affect change. So the venue location, obviously the governor's mansion, that all this is to be determined exactly, peacefully. That is peacefully and lovingly, right? We're doing this from a place of love. We're doing this from a place of concern. And a place of wanting to make sure we leave something a better place than when we found it. So I've got Bill Lee's contact information. I got a few other politicians' contact information that I've already discussed. Like I said, I want this to be a bipartisan type of event. I don't want it to be right or left. I want it to be, this is for the children, this is for the victims, and what we as humanity in the United States are going to do to help that effort. Okay? So anybody, right, left, doesn't matter. If you think that they're tough on crime and they support child advocacy, we want them on the list. Okay? We want them on the list. This might be a great opportunity to display some unity in Tennessee as well, because this is a common goal for all involved. I would hope. All right, guys, thank you for allowing me to bend your ear, but we're off to a great start. We will get the details of the event, the date, the time, everything you guys will need. Plenty of time to make whatever arrangements you need to make to be there. So if you need to get some vacation time, permission from your employers and stuff like that, we'll give you plenty of time to make those arrangements. Do you need to change schedules with somebody to be here without having to take vacation times? You're going to have plenty of time to make those arrangements in advance. Plenty of time in advance that if you want to be here at this great event, you will have the opportunity to be here. This is going to be much different than what we've done for true crime in the past. This is going to be more of our a political style of doing things, because we're kind of in the political realm of where we're going with this cause. We're about to be on the governor's door knocking, okay? So we have to pull out the political peace offering book to get all this stuff to get this stuff done diplomatically. Okay, well, we're off to a great start, and I know everybody will love us and everybody will love our cause. And that also reminds me, we need people, this is one thing I forgot to put on the list. Somebody remind me. We need people, volunteers for setting up, and we also need volunteers for cleaning up, okay? If you want to do both, I'm not going to stop you. We need all hands on deck for this project. But it's going to be a long day. It's going to be several hours. So if we can have 2 separate groups, one for setup and one for cleanup, that would even be amazing. So it's not, one group's not required to do all of it. Again, we're going to have our own little trash cans out there. We're going to have our own little things out there. We're going to do what we do, but we always leave the area exactly the way it was when we arrived. We don't leave one little crumb on the lawn that wasn't there before we got there. Okay. All right, Andrea, well, you have a great day. We'll see you back here in a little while, love bug. We'll see you back here in a little while. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. So we're going to be going into the Lilly and Jack case. I know that the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers has been gripped by all of us, and it has kept our attention for well over a year. Before we move to our second case, let's just take a moment to reflect. If you have any information about Sebastian, contact Sumner County Sheriff or the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. That a $500,000 reward could be the key to bringing him home. Now we're going to move over to the mysterious disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan, 2 young siblings who vanished from their rural Nova Scotia home under deeply suspicious circumstances. Newly released text messages have raised questions about their mother and stepfather, and we'll unpack it all. On May 20th, on May 2nd, 2025, a 911 call came into Lansdowne Station, a remote community in Pictou County, Nova Scotia. They're right off a Garlock Lane, and when they say rural, that's exactly what they mean. They are out there basically in the middle of nowhere. Set off one of the largest search efforts in the province history, and they still haven't even located the children. 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack had vanished from their rural home on Garlock Road. The siblings, who reportedly have undiagnosed autism, lived with their mother, Malehya Brooks-Murray, and stepfather, Daniel Martell, and their 1-year-old sister, Meadow. But we've recently learned that there were 2 other adults on the property at the time. We knew of Daniel's mother, and we knew she lived in the dilapidated RV on the back to the side of the house. But who was the other adult? Many people believe it was his brother. Where was his brother staying? And who is his brother? According to Malehya and Daniel, the children were playing in the house that morning while the couple tended to Meadow. Malehya told police she heard Lilly and Jack, but briefly fell back asleep, and when she woke, the house was silent, and the children's boots were gone, suggesting they slipped out through a quiet sliding door. The home is surrounded by dense woods, steep banks, and thick brush, and coupled with a recent hurricane with a lot of downed trees that they still haven't cleaned up, making it a treacherous area for the 2 young children that wandered off. Now we're going to move over to Malehya's statements. These are the statements that many of you guys heard. It's the one and only statement that she has provided the world. We've never heard or seen from her again. And now Belinda Gray, the paternal grandmother to Jack and Lily, it's Cody's mom. Cody Sullivan is the children's biological father that has nothing to do with them. But this is the one and only time we've heard from Malehya outside of the release of these text messages. Now we know why her mother was demanding that she quit talking to everybody, which is, again, very, very suspicious.
And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet, and we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now. But we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued. Not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal, and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
So there you guys have it from Malehya Brooks-Murray. And it's the one and only time that we've heard from the mother. So this was the interview she gave to CTV News the day after the disappearance. Her anguish is palatable, but we'll see. Her actions and those of her parents, of her partner, Daniel, has raised suspicions. The RCMP launched an immediate investigation and search involving over 160 volunteers, drones, helicopters, and canine units. Despite scouring over 8.5 square kilometers, including lakes and abandoned mine shafts, no trace of Lilly or Jack have been found beyond a blanket and a child-sized shoe print. And I truly believe that very well may have been staged. From the onset, the RCMP treated Lilly and Jack's disappearance as suspicious and actually have stated that they're going to treat it as suspicious until they find out otherwise, which is what we like to hear. As a standard for missing person cases proven otherwise. But certain details didn't add up. The children were last seen in public with Malehya, Daniel, and Meadow on May 1st, captured on surveillance footage in New Glasgow. By 10 a.m. the next day, they were gone. The story of them slipping out unnoticed through the sliding glass door raised questions. How could two children, one with a bright pink outfit and the other in distinctive dinosaur boots, vanish without a trace? Adding to the intrigue, are newly released text messages between Malehya and the children's paternal grandmother, Belinda Gray. Belinda, who hadn't seen Lilly and Jack in nearly 2 years, texted Malehya on May 2nd after learning of the disappearance. Malehya confirmed the children were missing, but her response were brief, vague, and offering little details about the morning's events. Belinda told CBC News she believed my babies are gone, a heartbreaking statement that reflects her loss of hope that the children will ever come home safely. Daniel Martell's behavior has also drawn scrutiny. He voluntarily took a polygraph test, which he claims to have passed, but questions focused heavily on whether the children were deceased, not abducted. He's hinted at more evidence the public isn't privy to, but says he's restricted from sharing details. Meanwhile, Malehya left Lansdowne Station on May 3rd, the day after the children disappeared, to stay with family elsewhere in Nova Scotia, and she's since blocked Daniel on social media, suggesting a rift. But the kicker is she's never, ever returned to the scene, and we've learned that she actually took off from her mother's home to boot. Which brings us to our next clip related to Daniel Martell and him wanting to take the polygraph test.
I asked for that so early on, and there's not many places that do it in Canada, so they're flying somebody in.
Why do you think you need to do that? Do you think they don't believe you?
I think their side of the family doesn't believe me, and I just want to clear it up for everyone. Clear it up for everyone, not just the people online making crazy accusations.
Crazy accusations, he says. Crazy accusations. So, this kind of is just a little disappointing because the RCMP's investigation is extensive, involving 11 units, including their major crimes unit, and over 500 tips. They've interviewed 54 people, seized electronic devices, analyzed hours of video footage. A blanket found near a child-sized boot print on the first day of the search is a key piece of evidence, but its significance remains unclear. I find it odd. I find it very odd. We've learned about a pink boot being located under a couch, a lone pink boot. Where's the other pink boot? Where is the backpack? And why would Lilly bring out her blanket? None of this stuff makes sense. The blanket to me makes me feel like that was a staging event to confirm that they left the house when there's no evidence. Notably, Child Welfare Services had investigated the family months before the disappearance, though the details are confidential. The family dynamic add another layer of complexity to this case. Lilly and Jack's biological father, Cody Sullivan, has had no contact with them in 3 years after Malehya ended their relationship and sought sole custody. Belinda Gray, Cody's mother, maintained a relationship with the children until Malehya moved in with Daniel. It sounds like Daniel was the rift that broke her spirit, in a sense, after which all the contact with Belinda stopped entirely. Belinda's interview revealed a stained relationship with Malehya, who says she confided about being unhappy before splitting with Cody. The absence of an Amber Alert has also sparked debate. And not only that, that is the one thing that law enforcement continuously drills into the public's mind. There is no evidence of an abduction. There is no evidence of an abduction. An abduction is not the possibility. They are not looking at an abduction at all. Whatever they have in their hot little hands or in their evidence is telling them that this is not an abduction. And they have made that crystal clear to the entire world over and over and over again. Malehya and Daniel pushed for one, citing the children's autism and vulnerability, but the RCMP declined, stating there was no evidence. This decision frustrated the family and the community, who wondered if a wider alert could have made a difference. Law enforcement clearly doesn't believe that is a possibility. Do we? I don't know. What happened to Lilly and Jack Sullivan? Let's break down the theories. First, the official narrative is the children wandered off. Their autism could have led them astray into the dense wood and forestry, where they became lost, disoriented, or succumbed to the elements. The blanket and boot prints support this, but the lack of further evidence, such as the extensive search without any evidence of the backpack, clothing, or anything out in the woods that would support those children wandered off. For example, the woods might be dense and might also have some wet ground. Why is there no boot impressions in that wet ground? Why are there no footprint impressions anywhere out there in that dense forestry? There's only one footprint that has been denoted, and that was next to the house on their property. There has been no other evidence to support any other footprint or boot print other than the one that they did say they spot by the pipeline has ever been brought to the public. And that is just not enough. Second, there's the abduction theory. Daniel has consistently pushed the idea, urging police to monitor borders and airport, but no witnesses or suspicious vehicles are reported. So this remains speculative. So now we have the wandering off, the abduction, and now the third one, which is obviously the most troubling, is the possibility of foul play involving someone close to the children. The text messages, Malehya's departure, and Daniel's cryptic comments about undisclosed evidence raising red flags. Could there have been an incident in the home? Was there neglect or something more deliberate? The RCMP's focus on polygraphs and the major crime unit's involvement suggests they're exploring this angle. What's your take? Could two young children vanish completely, or is there more to this story? So we've covered both of these haunting cases. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, 16 years old, who disappeared from Tennessee and has a unclaimed $500,000 reward, as well as the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case, which are two young siblings who vanished from Nova Scotia, which has raised chilling questions. Both cases remind us of how quickly life can change and how much families need answers. So I appreciate you guys all being here. Thank you for watching and participating. But what say you? We have two cases we just went over. The Sebastian case and the Lilly and Jack case. But let's look at these cases. Both sets of parents, say all three of these children wandered off. All four of the parents, the moms, and the stepfathers all have suspicious behaviors and activities surrounding them. Both of these cases have clear family issues involved. Both of these cases had CPS involved prior to the disappearance. We have two sets of parents, one set from Sebastian's case, one set from Lilly and Jack's case, that can't seem to show emotion for their missing children. And we have two mothers, one in Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' case and one in Lilly and Jack's case, that can't seem to stay where they are. Both have fled. Katie fled to a different state during the heart of search efforts. And Malehya Brooks-Murray took off somewhere else in Nova Scotia with her grandma, the other paternal grandmother that still has not searched for her own grandchildren. Yet, Belinda Gray, a grandmother that hasn't seen her grandchildren in years, is more involved. I don't know about you, but that's And I absolutely believe someone...
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Just saying. Foul play in both cases. Mother and step-parent appear to be involved in both cases. Yet, in both cases, nobody's arrested. Now, as far as Mr. Uncle, I don't believe Mr. Uncle. I think Mr. Uncle is full of poo-poo, okay? I do not believe that these children were loaded up in a car. I don't believe that man knows what he's talking about. If he is related to Daniel, that should say everything that we need to hear. If it is a neighbor, then and the party house wasn't true, what's the chances of this being true? Especially when we look out, how in the hell would this neighbor know or hear this going on at night? They're so far away from it. Neighbors are so far away from this home, nobody's going to know what this man is doing. So any type of statement of, oh yeah, we saw this and we saw that, where'd you see it from? Because you can't tell me you saw it from your front porch, sir. So where did you see all this? What time do you usually go to bed? How do you know this? Why? As Jason Jensen taught me to always ask. Why? Why? So we've got two cases, lots of similarities, lots of things that aren't similar, right? But a lot of similarities. And the major similarities are behavior related. And we're going to break the stigma that everybody grieves differently. Because here on the Bullhorn Betty Show, we're going to show you how parents that grieve the loss of their children and parents that grieve them being suspects in the loss of their children. Two totally different behaviors. One's focused on them. The other one's focused on their missing loved one or deceased loved one and getting justice. I can tell you both of these families, Chris Katie Proudfoot, as well as Daniel Martell and Malehya Brooks-Murray, they seem more concerned about themselves and their appearance to the public than they are about the missing children. That is not okay for me. Daniel Martell, Malehya Brooks-Murray, my name is Bullhorn Betty. If you would like, maybe I got something wrong. Maybe I'm missing a nugget of information. If you feel I've got something wrong, you can reach out to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I will drop you a link anytime for you to come up here and explain what you need to explain. I've got some questions. Maybe if you answer some questions, maybe the focus can change. I don't know. I have to hear first. So you can always reach out to me or just come on my show. God bless each and every one of you. Let's just go through some other things. Did you guys have any questions or anything that I should be maybe looking at? Oh, I missed it. Look at this. Patty gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Patty thank you. And if you're the recipient of this big, beautiful, big, bold, beautiful Bullhorn Betty membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Yeah, you go grab yourself that straitjacket in that padded room and welcome aboard there, Cupcake. I wanted to make sure you got your money's worth there, Patty. I like pushing buttons. I'm going to come up with a rap that says, I like pushing buttons and I cannot lie. Right? We're going to take that old school. Patty says, good morning, Betty. Well, good morning to you too. Oh my God. How did I miss this? Jeez, Louisa, Kimberly, thank you so much for the gracious gift. God bless you. God bless you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. How in the world, I can't believe I missed that. That's what I don't like about this StreamYard side. You can't see crap on this side. It sucks. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And to think I was just about to close the show down. Kimberly was going to like, well, screw Betty. She didn't even say thank you. What a rude bee. Where are
okay. We're okay. Well, I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it a lot, guys. I know I saw some people saying I've emailed you. I'm very, very sorry. I am, if you haven't noticed, behind absolutely 100% in my emails. I have not checked my emails. I mean, I've checked them periodically, but not for the stuff that I should be checking them for. Oh, okay. And we'll get you on the list too, Twitch. Thank you so much for that. But we will be making a list. I'm going to be going over this stuff. I think I've got a good template. We need to get speeches by politicians, advocates, informational booths, petition signing. I put that in there. And symbolic gestures like releasing balloons. I was thinking about some stuff that we could do as a group, and I think maybe they make balloons that are biodegradable, like doing a balloon release. The lanterns were really pretty too. I really like the lanterns. Lanterns are definitely a lot more expensive. But I'm sorry, they're more beautiful. I like them. I like them more than the balloons. But we'll discuss that. And again, we have to remember we're going to have a budget, so we've got to prepare the budget and then start going after our sponsors for this. If we can, I want to make sure that we have plenty of water out there. I don't know how hot it's going to be, but I at my events I like free bottles of water. Being, having access to whoever chooses to come. I like somebody handing out waters to them to make sure that everybody stays hydrated and is cooled off and stuff like that. And not only that, we want to promote, them bringing their kids. We want to promote this being a family-friendly, event. And I don't want somebody having to worry if they need to bring their checkbook, okay? We're not here for that. We're here for other stuff. So that's going to have to go into the budget. Wherever it is, we've got to have a cooler full of ice. So we need ice and water for the event. And we need to have at least 200 to 300 bottles of water at that event. Okay? So, and then the accompanying ice. I may just rent an ice machine that can just make our ice for us and what have you. But we'll figure out what we're going to do. But the actual planning of this is going to take 12 to 16 weeks. Okay, that's just the actual planning. So you guys are going to be, if you're going to be committing to this, you guys are committing a significant amount of your time to Bullhorn Betty. Okay, you guys are about to give me your life for the next couple months. So again, if that's what you'd like to do, I could definitely use the help. I could use the support. We've got a lot of work to do to make this even a possibility or a reality, but I know that with dedication, tenacity, and keeping our eye on the goal, we will be successful as we always are, and we will continue to be. So for all of those that are here this morning, thank you so much for supporting this channel, for supporting the great causes, supporting my quirky butt, right? Some of you guys don't believe in the same stuff I believe, but you guys come here every day because you guys want to make a difference for the cases we cover. And that is a true dedication. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys being here. So thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. And we will be working on this here in the near future. But it is now go time. We've got the outline. Now we're going to set up the committee. If you guys would like to send me emails, I could use all help. You don't have an application process, right? Just willingness to help is all the only requirement needed. Okay. So I appreciate you guys. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. God bless each and every one of you. We'll see you soon.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here
to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We've brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.